recorded and we can share that with you via email after the workshop. All right, so with that, let's get started. Over to you, Flo.
Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Florian Schmutz. I'm a senior sales account manager from Finis with a focus on the HashiCorp stack. Finis is founded in 2000 and we have actual over 70 employees. In Switzerland, we are based in Bern, Basel, Zurich, and Lausanne. And we also have an office in the Netherlands, and soon we will have one in Australia. To that, some words afterwards. We are a partner-centric company based on a broad customer base. Our services are engineering, where we help to optimize the IT efficiency of companies with our tailor-made solutions. Second service, we help customers to transform into DevOps influenced mentality. The DevOps philosophy unifies development and operation with different tools and helps to speed up code changes into production. We also have a development team which creates individual developed software solution, including adjustment and bug fixing. And last but not least, we can offer managed solutions where we can take care of your IT landscape up to 24/7. That's also the reason why we will expand to Australia, so we can guarantee the follow the sun support in SLAs. Finis has 3 strategic partnerships: HashiCorp, Red Hat, and SUSE. And there we have the highest partner level in all 3. So if you're looking for solution in a broad open source technology stack, we can help you. Be it container technologies, automation, CI/CD, either secret management and zero trust network. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. And now more focus on the workshop from HashiCorp. I thank you very much for your attention, and many thanks to HashiCorp for this hand-on workshop. I hand over to Kapil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Flo. Please, can you stop the share? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So as Connor mentioned, I will start with a small company introduction. We know many of you probably already have attended one or other of these workshops and already know about HashiCorp, but many times we always have new people who are new to the company and maybe just have heard about Terraform. So it makes sense to spend a few minutes talking about the company a little bit, and then we will jump right into the presentation and the workshop and the hands-on labs. All right. So a little introduction about me. My name is Kapil Arora. I am a senior solution engineer here at HashiCorp. I work mostly on Terraform and Vault at the moment, and I help customers in the DACH region to implement DevOps workflows and also automation with our tools in the DevOps infrastructure automation space. All right. So a little bit about HashiCorp. So many times it happens that you have heard of one or the other tools, if not the name HashiCorp, right? So this is currently the stack that we have of tools, starting from Vagrant, Packer, Terraform, Vault, Consul, and Nomad. I definitely used both Vagrant and Packer, as well as Terraform, before I actually joined HashiCorp, and I really liked these tools. And they are very, very popular throughout IT departments and engineers all throughout the world. And because the tools are so good, that's also one of the motivation for me to join the company. So as you can see, we are in the business of automating infrastructure and mostly cloud infrastructure, right? All these tools focus on one or the other workflow to make your work easier, to make it easier in multi-cloud, hybrid cloud environments, to solve similar problems again and again with different tools, right? So for example, provisioning with Terraform in all kinds of platforms and clouds, you can use Terraform to automate and provision, use infrastructure as code. You can use Vault to secure and provide credential management, secret management, and more advanced functions around security. And then with Console, service discovery, network middleware automation, and also service mesh kind of features. And finally, Nomad, which is an orchestrator and scheduler. So this is our stack today. And we are a company that is offering these also as open source, and Vagrant and Packer are mostly open source tools. But today we are focusing definitely on Terraform and basically Terraform Cloud. So a little bit also about our philosophy or our direction as a company. So we are, I do not know if you have heard or seen already, we are in the Forbes Cloud 100 list. So we are number 4 there. And we are a company that is born in the cloud. And we are born in the time when, the traditional data centers, where we call it the static data center, where you have dedicated infrastructure, right? We are in the transition from moving from these data centers to more modern, dynamic data centers where you can provision resources within a few minutes. You can provision thousands and thousands of VMs, and you can also delete them very, very quickly. So complete dynamic, complete way of thinking and working in IT has changed, right? And we are kind of building tools, building softwares to actually help customers, help enterprises, help developers, operators to actually have a better experience in this journey, and also adopt the cloud much, much better and easier and faster, right? So that's kind of where the company was born, and where we are trying to put more and more effort to bring out new workflows and new tools to help you in this transition, right? So to explain this a little bit more in detail and also introduce our tools to you, we have kind of divided this stack into 4 layers. The first one is, of course, provisioning. So that is something that you need first, right? And today we are focusing on provisioning as well. So that's operations, provisioning of infrastructure. And if we think about it, it was very different when it comes to dedicated infrastructure in dedicated data centers or on-premise data centers, right? We had to procure hardware, we had to plan ahead, and it took much more time. And today it's just on demand, anytime on the click of a button, you can get resources really, really quickly. So you need different tools, different way of thinking to do that. And Terraform was born out of this transition, right? And when it comes to security, so as soon as you have provisioned stuff, you have provisioned a VM, you have provisioned a database, you have provisioned a load balancer. These services need to talk to each other, and they need credentials. Where do you store them? How do you make them secure? How do you authenticate to these services? So that is kind of where Vault or a security problem comes out. And we do not have this secure parameter of data center, but we have the whole cloud environment. So we are trying to move from this very IP focused, very fixed, data center focus, where I say my machine which runs database has this IP, and I want it to be able to talk to another IP. This mindset is changing, and we are thinking more about how can we provide identity as the source of providing credentials, providing access to things, instead of using IP that we have had used previously. And similarly, in case of networking, again, this approach of setting up firewall rules around IP addresses. When we think about thousands and thousands of containers, microservices, things coming up and going out, then it doesn't really make sense to use IP, because things are so dynamically changing. So that mindset change is where we have this change coming in with we are thinking about services. This service should be able to talk this to this service. And that's where we have the change coming in, right? And lastly, we do not have a dedicated host where we deploy a dedicated database on that host, right? And now we are thinking about, I have this pool of resources, this pool of hosts, this fleet of hosts or resources, and I just want to deploy my workloads, right? So you can see all these layers, we have a different thinking. Now we have a different way of solving our problems, and that's where we have divided the stack, and we are thinking about different workflows for different of these challenges that we see now today when we are moving towards from dedicated to multi-cloud, hybrid cloud environments. All right, so that's where our tools fit in. In provisioning, we have Terraform. For security we have Vault. For connecting services, we have a console. And finally, for orchestrating, scheduling workloads, we have Nomad. Right, so this is kind of our stack. This we also sometimes call as cloud operating model. And at the end, how we think about it and how companies are adopting our tools is we think of it like we have an application or a Delta application, and we want to make sure that this is deployed in the cloud, right? And we have to take this application and provision infrastructure for it. We have to secure, we have to provide it access to different other services. We have to make sure that it is discoverable. We have to make sure that other services can talk to it, and only services which should be talking to it can talk to it. And finally, we also want to schedule this workload. So in this 4 layers, you are kind of solving all your operational challenges to bring this application piece into the cloud. And if you have these as dedicated services, a dedicated control plane, so to say, within your data center, then you can make this streamlined and you can offer this as a service from your IT departments to everybody in the company. And we offer all these tools are multi-cloud and hybrid cloud, so to say, enabled. And that's where our vision is, then that's how we help our customers. All right, so that's all I had about the cloud operating model. I hope if you had never heard of it before, it was helpful to understand the philosophy and the idea behind HashiCorp and why our tools exist and what kind of problems they solve. And now let's focus on the infrastructure part. Let's focus on the provisioning part and try to learn about Terraform Cloud, which is our SaaS offering. Built on top of Terraform, open source, that you all know about and love. All right, so let's move ahead and get started. So today's workshop is about Terraform Cloud on Azure. So we will do all our lab exercises. We will focus on Azure as our cloud environment. In the lab environment, you already have an Azure account linked, so you do not need to have your own Azure resources or subscription, and we will be providing that. And we will use Terraform Cloud to do most of our operation and learn about Terraform Cloud as an offering and what all you can do with Terraform Cloud, right? So that's basically what. So if you would like to get access to these slides, I will copy this link in the chat. That's the chat, so that you can also follow along with me, and you can look at the slides later or refer them during your workshop. And now I will get started. So what is basically the idea of today's workshop is we have different modules and we have different features that we'll talk about in Terraform Cloud. So first, we start with comparison or kind of understanding how do you move from open source to the cloud or enterprise version of Terraform, right? What is Terraform Cloud actually? What all are the contents of it? What does it include? We'll understand the basics. We will then also configure. So as part of our lab exercise, we will configure the remote state for our Terraform code, which you will get as part in your lab itself. And then we will move on from there, understanding the basics of Terraform Cloud. We will move on and understand how can you protect sensitive variables, right? So whenever you're running Terraform projects or Terraform infrastructure, whenever you're deploying infrastructure, you need cloud credentials, right? You need to provide them as environment variables. So how can we protect them is kind of the second focus area. And then we work with how can you provide access control and RBAC within the Terraform cloud environment. Then we'll see how can you directly link your VCS providers like GitHub, GitLab, or Azure DevOps, and a lot of different ones that we offer within the platform. And then also, how can you enforce policies? How can you link policies? For example, I'll also give you lots of examples about what kind of policies you can have. For example, these tags should exist, or these VM sizes are not allowed, and things like that. How can you use our policy framework, write code for policies, and then apply those to different projects, different workspaces, etc. And how do you collaborate together, right? One of the main point is, if I want to work alone on my laptop, I think Terraform open source is good enough. And I'm able to, personally, I'm able to do a lot with Terraform itself. And most people do that. But if you want to scale it out, if you want to collaborate with others, how do you make sure you don't step on each other? How do you make sure everybody has the right amount of access? How do you make sure you are not destroying somebody else's state, or you have access to the state files? So that's why also collaboration with the help of version control systems, and also kind of how do you review others' changes? Can you do a code review kind of a workflow? We'll also look at that. Then lastly, we will see how can you create modules, publish modules within the private module registry within Terraform Cloud. How can you use the APIs provided with Terraform Cloud, and see API-driven workflow? How can you actually consume the APIs and do stuff from your side? And then we also have some extra bonus lab exercises that is optional. If you would like to learn further, you can go through the links and the bonus lab exercises. Right, so that's basically the idea of today's workshop, and we will go through all these step by step. And the plan is that I will present a little bit, show you about what's coming up and what are the concepts. Then you have time to do the lab exercises, and then we come back after one of the quizzes in the lab. I will tell you when you have to come back, and then we start again. We learn about some concepts, and then we again try it out in the lab. And that's kind of how it is going to be during the lab. All right, so the first chapter for today is understanding Terraform OSS, cloud, and enterprise. What is what, and what is kind of the difference. So one of a really good resource that I can suggest that you look at or watch to get a good understanding of why do we even need Terraform Cloud or Enterprise, right? So this is mostly about when you are scaling, when you have multiple team members, when you have security teams and other teams which want to add some compliance related stuff. How do you include everybody? How do you streamline the workflow with source code repositories? How do you do state management, right? So Arman, our co-founder, he has done a whiteboard session where he actually explains all this in really good detail. And if you would like to refer to it later, you can also go through it once. So just sharing this resource, you can bookmark it and watch it later. This is a really good on a foundational level understanding of what needs to be done to actually adopt infrastructure as code with Terraform on a larger scale, on a team scale, on an organization scale. What are the requirements and what all you need to do, and what are the problems that we are trying to solve with Terraform Cloud and Enterprise. All right, so for those of you who maybe are new to infrastructure as code, but I'm guessing probably all of you have already tried Terraform and like it already, right? So we use HCL, HashiCorp configuration language, as our way of writing code in Terraform. As you can see on the right-hand side, it's pretty readable. I'm creating a virtual machine with these parameters. And then we do not want to do things with, manually. right? That's one of the main parts. If lots of people do manual updates, use the GUI, you're not able to really scale that. You're not able to maintain those resources, and you're not able to quickly make changes or rebuild something that you already built. And that's why you definitely need infrastructure as code. And that's kind of not even a question anymore, right? If you are doing anything of even slight scale, you need to do infrastructure as code so that you can quickly destroy stuff, retry stuff, share it with others, use version control management, and also collaborate with others, right? So that's basically the main point. And we use HCL as a Terraform language. All right. So Terraform Cloud or Terraform Enterprise comes into two versions, right? One is something we call SaaS version, software as a service, which is hosted by us in a cloud environment. And you can go to app.terraform.io. That's where Terraform Cloud, you can find Terraform Cloud. And it's a SaaS offering. So multiple customers or multiple individuals can sign up and actually use Terraform Cloud. And they can get different packages, different versions of services that they want. For example, if you want more team and management, you want Sentinel, you can choose whichever packages you want, and you can pay accordingly as you go. The other option is Terraform Enterprise, where you can actually, one second, I need to turn this off a bit. It's making. All right, sorry. Slack was making a lot of noise, so I just wanted to turn it off. Yeah, so on the other side, if you want to deploy this in your data center or in your company environment, you can do this and also manage things like VMware, which you can also do, for example, today. So this workshop was created a while back, but today also we have features called agents, where you can have private agents running in your data center and you can manage resources like VMware. So these are the two versions where enterprise version of Terraform is available. Today, we are going to focus and you do our lab exercises, of course, in the SaaS version, but just so that you know that there is a version which is called Terraform Enterprise, which can be deployed within your data centers on VMs, for example. All right, another important point is that we want to enable self-service, right? And that is also an important part of using Terraform Cloud. We want to be able to share, for example, code that others can use, and also standardize some code modules which can be used by everybody. For example, if I'm an expert on creating networks in Azure environment, I make sure that the company is following some standards and these ports and stuff like that. And I can create a dedicated module for setting up a certain kind of network within Azure. And then everybody else, instead of writing their own code, they can just pick up the module, which you're already used to probably when it comes to creating, resharing code. But with the private module registry, you can do it much, much easier within your organization and test and make sure that they comply to your organization. Right? That's very important, because the public registry, anybody can check in whatever they want, or you have not tested it. So if you are allowing everybody to just use public ones, probably you need to test them before they are allowed. So private module registry gives you that option, and also gives everybody a guidance as to what they can achieve and what is already built for them that they don't need to rebuild. So getting a big picture overview of Terraform Cloud is what we're trying to do in this slide. So just think of it that there are operators, or there are people who are Terraform experts or Azure experts, for example, in this case, and they are pushing new modules into the private module registry. And there's, say, a developer who's actually using one of these modules or a bunch of these modules and writing code for their application, the infrastructure provisioning. And they are connected to, say, a GitHub or another VCS provider. And once they write code, instead of running the Terraform plan, apply, and all kind of run operations on your laptop, in the case of Terraform Cloud, you can do remote operations. So all the operations will actually happen within Terraform Cloud, and you do not need to run these operations on your laptop, which means that if it's a long-running operation, you do not need to worry about it, that you need to go somewhere or need to turn off your machine. It doesn't depend on your machine. It happens all in the cloud for you. And especially for long-running operations, you do not want to run it probably on your laptop. And then all the state management. So state is basically whatever Terraform creates as an infrastructure, it keeps a detailed copy or detailed documentation on what was created and what is managed by Terraform. And when it has to do some updates or it has to delete something, it will use the state to do all those operations. So it's a very, very critical part of Terraform. And instead of managing it or putting it on your laptop, it is put in the Terraform Cloud, and Terraform Cloud is managing everything for you. And Terraform Cloud can be you can interact with Terraform Cloud with API as well as UI. You will see the UI, and we will also do the API related operations in the lab. And then once you go through Terraform Cloud, you do a plan, apply, then finally using the providers, the resources are eventually created. So as in a nutshell, this is kind of a simple workflow for a developer to take the modules, to push the code into the VCS repository, and the rest is taken care by Terraform Cloud itself. All right, so in a nutshell, these are the, so to say, features. If we write them bullet pointed on one slide, you can see we have VCS integration, we have a UI, we have API-driven workflows within Terraform Enterprise, so you can talk to it with APIs. On the other side, OSS is just a binary which runs the plan, apply, output, and grab all these operations. But in this case, we have a dedicated API server running, which is able to do the jobs that you want it to do and also manage a lot of things. You're managing the state, or Terraform Cloud is managing the state. It includes a private module registry. You're also able to write policies for all your developers and people who are deploying infrastructure so that they are complying with them and they're not allowed to provision anything unless the policies are met. And then finally, we also have single sign-on. It says this is only available in Terraform Enterprise, but now we have a business version of Terraform Cloud, which also includes single sign-on. So because this is a little older slide, it says it's only enterprise. But these are kind of the major features that we offer along with the saving all the credentials securely and API credentials securely for you, for all the providers like Azure credentials, which we will actually do as part of our lab exercise as well, right? We will secure our credentials. All right, so this is basically a comparison between Terraform Cloud and Enterprise. As I already said, Terraform Enterprise is something you deploy on-premise in your data center. So you have more control of what is happening. You have a restricted network and corporate firewalls around it, but Terraform Cloud gives you the easiness that you do not have to maintain any infrastructure to deploy Terraform. You do not have to maintain another application for your cloud environment, right? So it's a SaaS offering, much easier to get started with and start consuming. So if you have strict networking requirements and firewall requirements that it should be within your firewall boundaries, then Terraform Enterprise is the answer. Otherwise, Terraform Cloud is good enough for many, many customers. Right? The features are almost the same. So it's basically the same product offered in two different forms, one as a SaaS product and one as an install binary or that you can install in your data center. All right, so now I will show you a little bit of how Terraform Cloud looks. Probably you have not seen it already or tried it out. So I have a Terraform environment. So you can see it's app.terraform.io. And this is how it looks when you log in into already used environment. And you can see there is something called workspaces. I also have some slides where we talk about what are workspaces and what does it mean. But this is how it looks. Yeah. So I have created this HashiCat Azure workspace. And you can think of workspace for now as a project or as a collection of your infrastructure, which kind of belongs together always. Okay. So you can see I have run this particular infrastructure multiple times, and I can see a run history and see what has been done and who did what. In this case, I have state management here. So far, this has not created any resources, so we do not see the state. But once we start creating resources, provisioning, we will see the resources state here, and then all the variables are also stored securely here instead of in a TF-vars file. Okay. And then finally, I have the ability to create a version control connection. You are actually going to do all these things, and you will see your own workspace in the lab in a few minutes. But just so that you get a small idea about it, what I'm going to do is just show you a quick workflow connected to GitHub. So this is basically my repository where I have all of my Terraform code. And I'm going to make a small change and show you that there's a trigger that happens. So there's like a workflow trigger based on this. So I'm just going to add a new tag, say a department equal to, say, DevOps. And I will just put this change. And if we come here, you can see there is a plan that automatically starts. So basically, it is connected to that GitHub repository. And as soon as I, as a developer, go in and make some changes, plan automatically starts. And you can see the plan here. Then you can see cost estimation. So Terraform Cloud also is pulling some prices from the cloud providers and showing us a rough estimate of how much it is going to cost. Right now, it is not working for some reason, but I have a sample that I ran a few days ago, and you can see it shows something like this, all your VMs, how much they cost hourly, but these are list prices, but you get some idea as to what is this going to cost. Is this a big GPU VM which costs thousands of euros or something? So you can also have some checks around that. So right now, it for some reason is not showing up. Maybe there are some problems with the Azure APIs. So you can see we also are doing some policy checks. So we will also do this in our lab, but just as part of the initial demo so that you know what you're getting into, what you will be building today, we can set policies for our workspace. So in this case, I'm saying only Red Hat and Ubuntu are allowed and nothing else as publisher. So if you're publishing another, if you're using, say, something else like a Fedora, then the company policy doesn't allow that. So it will not allow it, or it will give you a warning. So in this case, I'm also not allowing standard B1 size. I'm saying only these are allowed. So it failed. So I'm not able to go ahead. And you can see it is soft failed. So it means that I can still override it if I want. So maybe I will just override it, and then it will continue to go further. So if it was a hard fail, then it will not allow me to go further, but this is a soft fail. So the company suggests that you should not use them, but still, if you have a reason, you're allowed to go further. You also have the ability to have some suggesting policies, for example. So now it starts. So you can see as a developer, I didn't do much. Once my workspace is set up, I'm just doing a git push, and then things happen on their own. Yeah, we will also see a git-based workflow where you actually see that in GitHub also you can see that Terraform has a link with GitHub, and you can see that your source code is checking. So once you make any changes here, you can see if you say, for example, doing a pull request or a merge, you can see what happened in your Terraform cloud. So you have an idea as to if policies are passing or not, or should I, so you can create these test-based workflows as well. Okay. All right. All right, so this was just a small demo that I wanted to show, and now it will keep running, and eventually my application will be deployed, but just so that you get some idea, but eventually you will look at all of this on your own. All right, so just a quick, I will just not take too much time and not stop you from starting the lab yourself. I hope you have all registered for Instruct already. And if you have not, just go ahead and use the invite link and set up your environment and start the lab already, so that once we reach the lab, we can get started. So if you are not very actively using Terraform, these are some of the commands which are very, very common that we do. So Terraform init will initialize your directory, pull up all the providers that you want to use. For example, if you're using Azure RM, it will get the version of Azure RM that is required for your running your code. Plan is like a dry run, which Terraform will show you which resources will be deployed. Once this finishes, which resources will be deleted, which will be updated. And apply is when you actually want to say, Terraform, everything looks good in the plan, just go ahead and deploy it. And then you can also use Terraform destroy to destroy everything. Refresh will refresh the state file. Output will show you the output of your last apply. And graph will also show you the graph of dependencies between all your resources. So these are just some basic, it's just a refresher in case you are not familiar with them. Workspaces, I already mentioned, is a collection of your infrastructure. So if you have a project which needs a dedicated infrastructure and everything kind of belongs together, you will create a workspace for that. And you can think of it like a project or a folder for infrastructure. So it has its own state, it has its own variables, it has its own GitHub repository, or at least a path in your GitHub repository or a folder, right? So just a container for your collecting your infrastructure for a certain project or certain organization. And it's up to you, it's the flexibility that the platform gives you to define how many workspaces you need or for which particular department. So you could have a core networking workspace, you could have one application's own infrastructure as a workspace. So basically think of it about, if you want to delete, would you delete all of this together? Then it's probably part of one workspace usually. You can get more explanation here in our documentation. Then it is also possible to have multiple organizations. So this means that you are completely separated. You have different teams, you have different people working in this, and they don't look around or have any access to what is happening in the other organization. So if you want completely segregate two departments from each other, they will have their own module registry and everything. So then you can use organizations. In Terraform Cloud, you can have multiple organizations, or you can be part of multiple organizations as well. And every organization has in teams and then users. And you can say this team is responsible for development, so they should be able to access these workspaces, or you can say this is the administrator and he should get access to everything, or he's one of our managers and he just wants to peek in sometimes and see what is happening in the workspaces. So you can have different roles and different people and create this whole RBAC environment. And a small introduction to our application. So we are going to use an application we call HashiCat. And when you refresh the application, or even you open the application, you see a brand new image of a kitten, or so it's a kitten as a service. You can see cat photos all day if you would like, if it is kind of meditative for you. And that's kind of our application to help you see kittens anytime you want. This is our application, which we will deploy in the lab. And Terraform State, for those of you who are not aware, it is for lifecycle management of the infrastructure. Right? It looks something like this. So what is the MAC address? What is the name? Which is the security group? So it has all the details of what was deployed. And it is kind of a blueprint, not a blueprint, but it's actually a state, basically, right? What did you deploy last time, and how does your infrastructure look like? And Terraform needs to protect this state to function properly, right? And every workspace that we'll have will have its own state file. And then if you lose your state file, if, for example, you did everything on your laptop, then you need to do a lot of work, and you cannot share and collaborate with others if you put it on your laptop, right? So it's kind of locking the use of the code to deploy infrastructure. So as soon as you want to collaborate, you need to put it out of your laptop or your local drive And that's what Terraform Cloud also does for you, so that you can work with others and the state file is managed centrally. Right. So so remote state is free and available for all users. So there's a free account within Terraform Cloud. Anybody can use that. And you need to provide an API token within this file. And you need to set up the remote backend.tf. This is one of our first tasks that we will do in the lab. Run our Terraform code and then connect it with the Terraform Cloud, providing it with a remote backend and the API token, access token for Terraform, so that it can connect to Terraform. Okay, so we will be doing this. All right, so as Connor already mentioned, we will be doing all the exercises using Instruct. And this is if you just want to learn about Instruct, this is a link. And now we start the lab exercises. I hope everybody got the invite and was able to sign up and has access to this lab. So this is the lab we are going to do today, Terraform Cloud with Azure. This is how it should look, right? And you start the track here. So I hope you already started it, or you can start it now. And then make sure that you read properly, because there's a lot of instruction. If you will, I know as in it's human nature, I also sometimes just want to get things done and I skip many important instructions, and that's just how we function. But try to pay attention. For example, if you click here, right, you can also find more instructions many times, and start here. And this is kind of a role play as well. You are a brand new intern, and slowly you will progress and become a pro sysadmin during this workshop. And now you can start reading, start doing the operations. We are here to help you out. And if you have any questions, you can ask. And as written here, we stop at the first quiz. As soon as you reach the first quiz, you have to stop, and then we connect together and we go through the next set of exercises. I try to explain you what we are going to learn, and then you actually do the exercises. All right. Right, so I see 36 people have signed up. Here's the chat. I'm just going through the chat to see if there are any questions. I think some of them are already answered. So if you signed up, if you click on the invite, you will be able to reach the lab automatically, or you should be able to see it in your tracks. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so I think I'm also going to do the exercises along with everybody else. So I also have an idea about the time. So Ron, are you logged in to instruct? The link is not expired. Can you see if you see the track in your tracks? If you go to instruct, if you see it under tracks, can you check? It's called this is strange. Can you try to log out and log in again? Maybe try to log out and then use the link. It should work. The link is not expired and it's still valid. I'm sorry that you're facing the issue here. So the link is working.
It looks like Ron has got himself connected.
Yeah.
Conrad, you want to put me in a room with Ron so I can just help him out?
Yeah, I think that will be good. Thanks, Lance. Yeah.
It looks like he's got it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm in. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, good. All right. All right. So all of you will need to sign up for a Terraform Cloud account as shown here with this link, right? If you already have an account, you can use that, but it is important that you have not already used up your free trial. So if you sign up new, you have the ability to have a free trial for 30 days for all the enterprise features, and we will be using them later. So just, if you're signing up new, everything is good. There's nothing to worry about. Okay, but if you already have an account and you signed up for a free trial more than 30 days ago, then maybe you will need a new account today. Okay. So make sure that the workspace name is HashiCat Azure itself and nothing else. And make sure that the execution mode is local. So let me. Also create. Go to settings. Look. So in plan and billing, hopefully everybody was able to activate their free trial, which is very important to run through these labs, because we will be looking at a lot of different features, which like team management, Sentinel policies, cost estimation, which need this free trial. So if you are out of this trial, then probably you need to sign up with another email or create a new account. All right, what's next? In case you're not able to get a free trial, let us know, okay?
Kapil, can you show sort of the workspace settings, general settings page, just to show where that general settings change should be?
Yeah. So you're in the workspace here and settings and general, and that's where you set it to local right now.
Thanks. You should be able to go to the text editor, Kapil, and just open it there.
No, I actually, for me, somehow it is not created, looks like.
Okay.
I hope everybody, see, it's not there, so for some reason.
Yeah.
Does everybody else have this file created for them? Or is it just me not that it's not created?
I have access to it by clicking on the credentials file tab, and it was already created for me. So for me, it was created, but I see that for you, it isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, it's weird.
So Pavel has the same problem again. Let's just see if we can debug that quickly.
Credential Terraform Cloud.
For those that are having trouble, it might be best to stop and start your track again, just to let the environment get recreated.
Can somebody who already has the credential file just paste your credential file without your token in the chat, so others who don't have can maybe copy it, or I can at least try to create and see if everything works. If we otherwise.
Any of us should create that on the chat, right? Without the token itself. Okay, so on my way.
Yes, please. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
So probably you want to get the one from Ahmed instead.
One from, okay. Uh,
The challenge for those that did the course, the initial part of it where you set up the syntax highlighter in the code editor from step one was very important, because you need to add that into your step one and then hit the reload button so that it'll be installed properly, which then creates your terraform.d file. And I think the next step on then will then create your credentials.
Credentials should be in the lab already.
I'm just not sure which part of it is in at the moment, Kapil. Just trying to figure it out just quickly.
Okay, or maybe we can go through the breakout with. All right, so Venkat, are you not able to sign up for a free trial, or did you already use it before? Maybe if John, can you check if Venkat can get a 30-day free trial?
Sorry, check what?
So Venkat is saying in the chat that I've already have free tier account, and could you please upgrade Venkat test to unlock a 30-day free trial?
Oh, yeah. If you need to re-enable a trial, let me know your org name. Send me your org name in a private message, and I can change that.
Okay, so anybody who has already used up their free trial and would like a new trial, a 30-day trial, then please send a private message to John Boero. Okay. There is this error in Terraform apply. I simply add a default to the variable in the file. Terraform resulting in error building. Anybody who needs to free trial? Okay, need to destroy this other workspace. Ta-da-ta.
Hey everyone,
Hello.
I'm audible.
Yes.
Can you please tell me what you are doing? Because I am just joined this meeting, so I don't understand what you are doing.
There's a link. We'll put a link in the chat to the invite for the channel for the instruct track. You'd need to catch up with that. So we need to just copy that link in again.
So we are actually doing a lab. Yes, Connor, thank you. So you can sign up for the lab using the link that Connor just put in the chat. And then you have to go through all the exercises. So you sign up for this lab environment, you get access to the lab, and then.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. once you're done with the exercises and you reach
the end.
Sorry, when you reach to the quiz, the first quiz, then let us know in the chat that you have done it so that we have an idea how many people. Okay, so Ahmad, if you do a grep on environment variables with ARM, so history env grep ARM, do you see? I'm putting it in the chat. So if you run this command, do you see any in your shell? Do you see environment variables with ARM? So this is a question to all the people. So if you're able to see them, then you have the credentials. It should if you don't see them, yeah, if you don't see them, then you definitely need to stop the lab and restart it. But Ahmed, if you are seeing all these credentials, then it should work and not ask you to log in, because we are not using, in this case, the CLI to log in, but we have the ARM credentials here. But if you are getting this in the GUI in Terraform Cloud, that means that you have not set the variables yet. Or you have not used the local as the setting. So make sure that you're using local. So if you go to the organization.
Yeah, I would suggest you use the
make sure that you have
shell.
Local set here. Probably you don't have local set here, Ahmed.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you like to go, Lance, to have a breakout session with Ahmed and help him out, or somebody else?
Yeah, no problem. Connor, can you put me in with Ahmed, please? Connor?
I can also do that, Lance.
Yeah, just check me in there, please.
Yeah, Ahmed, I will send you to a breakout room with Lance.
Rob, you must stop there.
I don't see the breakout room option anymore for some reason. Why? It was there before.
I'm looking too, sorry, let me try and find it.
Sorry, Kapil, you are no longer a co-host, strangely. That's why.
Yeah, that's strange.
And neither do I have that option, even though I'm a co-host. Me.
What's up? Do we want some breakout rooms?
Yeah, I need to get into a breakout room with Ahmed.
Of course, no worries. I'll set that up now.
Thank you.
Saurabh, if you would like to continue, you can, but it's nice to stop so that we can go through them. I think another 5 to 10 minutes and we will start going through the slides before you can do the exercises. But feel free to try the next exercises if you would like.
There were some. It's very clear that that you have to go through each and one of the steps, step for step. You need to make sure you read.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry. I also joined late. I got the time wrong. But which exercise are we supposed to do? I've clicked on the link and I can see loads of labs. Is there loads of options? Oh, I think I've seen them. If I used to play Terraform Cloud with Azure. No.
Yes.
Oh, cool. No worries. Thanks.
All right. So if you do not have ARM credentials and you do ENB, then probably it's a good idea to stop the lab and restart it. Okay, I think most of the people have already finished.
I just wondering how the Azure subscription is connected to the CLI. Is it like some variable setting in the Terraform files?
Yeah, so basically it's picking it up from the environment variables, which you will also later move to the variables within. I can show you maybe. So if you go to the shell, so these are the credentials for Azure, and they are picked up when you do a Terraform plan.
So how the Terraform setting is like picking that up? Is that local setting in there? The cloud.
So cloud is actually not running when you are doing local. So when the setting is local here, you are running it on your laptop itself. But when we make it to remote, then only you will run it here. So the only thing happens is that the state is saved here. Okay. So the execution happens on your laptop. So we only need credentials on your laptop in this case, or in this on this machine.
I mean, yeah. So how the Terraform pick up the local environment? Is it a setting there, or is that default? How things?
So if you go to Azure Terraform, it's just how it is implemented. So that's how authentication works with Azure Provider. You can have the CLI, you can have environment variables, and there are different ways. And as soon as you set these, Terraform is able to pick up automatically. So it is in the code of Terraform to do that, or the provider.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, so it makes it much easier if you have already got an environment set up to just start using Terraform to start doing deployments. It helps a lot doing that.
All right,
cool.
So
thank you.
I think we'll quickly check in the chat.
Hi, Kapil. Kapil, I'm getting an error.
Who's that? Sorry.
This is Upendra.
Where are you getting the error?
Running the Terraform, I'm getting that error on Terraform init. And
What is the error that you get?
Terraform init, it says.
Did you get the API token from and put it in this file?
Yes.
And also the remote. Did you set the remote backend? Failed to?
Yeah.
Failed to what?
Yeah. Failed to read organization entitlements.
So
that means that the organization doesn't have isn't the one for that might have an expired cloud enterprise cloud license. Maybe we can check and see if you've got that enterprise enablement for the 30-day trial.
Question. Before we check that, are we sure that we created a user token, not a team or org token? User, this tends to be a token issue.
Yeah, this is a user token. So maybe this is also a good point, John. So you need to create this token here in your user, under user settings, under tokens. If you have created the token somewhere else, then it is not going to work. So just make sure that the token is created as a user and not as a team or an organization. It's not a team or organization token. Thanks, John. I think probably that's where maybe
So
that's.
I had one case that in the text editor, you need to save the file because it's not auto-saving. At least for me, the initial training description, it says that it's auto-saving, but for the credentials, you need to, if you edit, there is the icon.
Good point.
For the save.
Can you check if you have a save icon here on top next to the credential file? If it is there, then probably it's not saved and you need to press the save button. For VS Code, it is auto-saving, but for credential, but here this editor needs to be saved. So make sure that it is saved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. I think we have a lot of people who have completed the exercise. Let's move ahead. Otherwise, I think we'll not be able to finish just in the interest of time, but we will keep helping whoever faces problem and we can again start. All right, so far we did a remote state. We saw what remote state is, right? You were able to run your application, your Terraform code. And now let's look at how can you secure variables within Terraform Cloud. So right now, all the ARM credentials that you saw are part of the environment variables, right? But probably it is not safe to always keep them on a host in environment variables, or you would like to make it more secure, then it is possible to move them actually to Terraform Cloud, which internally uses Vault to store the credentials. And especially when you are working with variables and credentials, and you're also working together with code, there is a chance that you might end up checking them in without the intention, but still it happens with everybody or most people that they end up checking their credentials or keys or something in GitHub. So it's important to segregate your credentials. And that's why we have this capability within Terraform Cloud. And you want to protect your SSH keys, your passwords, API keys, certificates, any sensitive data, right? So one part of it is that you have remote state. So anything that is part of the remote state, any credentials, these credentials will be encrypted. So that is also an important point. And then if you want to save credentials, you need to make sure that they are part of the variables. So Terraform requires credentials to communicate with cloud provider APIs, and we should make sure that they don't get leaked, because if they get leaked, it can be a problem, right? All right, so a better way to protect them is to actually put them, for example, in the environment variables. And if it is a sensitive value, it is possible to make it write once, for example, and you cannot read it again. And if you want to change it, you have to write it again. And it kind of is a sensitive value. For example, in this case, you can make all of them sensitive, or you can make just the secret sensitive in this case, right? So this means that if somebody creates a workspace for you and gives you the credentials, you will never be able to see them. You will only be able to do Terraform code runs within your workspace according to the policies and stuff like that. And we will know who did what, right? The credentials will not go out of your environment. So that is one part. And the other part is role-based access. So it is possible to create different teams and roles to collaborate. So you can give organizational wide access. So to a super admin, you can say they can access and manage policies, or manage workspaces, manage VCS connections. That could be the administrator, or you can create teams which have access to only specific workspaces. They can read or write in the workspace. And this is actually part of the exercises that we'll do. So now you can start with the next part of the exercises, where you will create a team, team members, you will create variables and move ahead into your Terraform Cloud experience, moving away from the local applies to remote execution of your runs.
Connor, can you pop me in a room with Ron, please?
Yep, doing it now.
So Sandeep, probably you're not using the right token. You need to use a user token as previously said, and not a team or organization token. You should go here to user settings and create the token here and not somewhere else. I think that's the problem, Sandeep, for your side. So we need, maybe you can close and close your track here, go back, and then continue the course again, and you should be able to see it. Good 31683 that the ARM credentials are coming for you. All right. I got strange error. So Ivan, if you see here, it is mentioned that if you already have a TF state file, if you ran it before you connected it to the workspace, then probably you need to delete the files. So if you have TF state files here, TF state backup, just delete them and then run again. That's for Ivan. Because it also says here, if you see, Petra, it's okay. If you're getting error, it's not a problem. You don't need to turn it off. Yeah, there is some problem with cost estimation right now. So it might fail, but it will not, it is not a problem. It is not an error. It's just showing you that there's an error, but you should not worry about it. I don't have that file. Okay. What is the error again? Error acquiring state log resource not found. Joe, it depends. Which run are you talking about? You need to go to your workspace, Eric. If you go to your workspace, you can see I'll show you another one. You can see variables here, and that's where you need to set the variables, Eric.
Farah, you've got on the right-hand side of the text box, when you open up the secret, you can click it as there's a tick box that says mark as sensitive when you save, just before you save it.
Yeah, you can mark sensitive here.
That's it, what Kapil's showing now.
Okay. Ivan, did you get further? Lance, maybe Ivan needs some help. Ivan, can you ping us again if you're still stuck? Maybe Lance can help you. Yeah, cost estimation error is not a problem. There is some backend API issues.
Yeah, the cost estimation should normally complete, but it's not. It seems to have an issue right now.
Yeah, Lance, Ivan needs some help. Maybe you can go to a breakout with him if you have, if possible. Or John,
I don't
somebody.
see Ivan.
Ivan Gregus, he's.
Okay, Connor, can you put me in a room with Ivan then, please?
Yep, coming up.
Thank you very much.
Debo Prata, yes, you can do it from the shell as well. But once you set up remote apply, and once, then I think in this lab exercise you can, that's where you do it from, Terraform apply, I think. Just follow the instructions, I would say. This you do it from shell itself.
Yeah, so for the Terraform apply, right? Although I have set up the environment variable in the Terraform workspace, so shall I do it from the workspace, like queue the plan?
From here?
Yeah, I'm doing it from here only. So just I had a doubt whether should I trigger it from the workspace? I mean to say queue the plan from there, or shall I do it from here? So you
from here, Terraform apply, yeah, from here.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, Eric, your the shell doesn't have a copy and paste. It's due to a browser bug not allowing you to copy and paste out of the shell. It's just something in the browsers that block it.
I think it doesn't work sometimes, but it works for me at least, the copying. I never wrote it down. It works,
so
at least from the shell it should.
There's, yeah, that's it. Use the shell tab. The Visual Studio Code IDE sometimes doesn't respond well with clipboard depending on your browser. So yeah, always use the shell terminal tab.
Ben here also has a workaround, so maybe you can use that. But Control-C should work because if you're using a Mac, Command-C worked for me at least. Oh no.
What about this error about cost estimation error I'm getting when I try to apply that remote?
But when you apply, are you able to see things run here?
Okay, I'll check.
Ben, the whole infrastructure gets deleted after the course, by the way. So don't worry about that too much. The infrastructure is temporary.
Yes, please ignore the cost estimation error for now.
Okay, no problem. It just yeah, and then the web page I can see up Terraform. I can see that applying and applied. So yeah, let's see. Okay.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Seems today we've hit all the bugs. And it's fun. It's part of being in IT, I suppose.
Okay. All right. So once you're done with the second quiz, just let us know in the chat.
So what to do on adding this team? So when I go to the settings and try to do add team, I'm unable to. So there is something called select a team, and I cannot do anything in adding a team or assigning a permission.
So what basically, if you go to your organization, you can.
No. So what I did, I went to settings, and under that I chose team access, right?
Teams here, right?
Yeah.
You created a team.
No, it's not allowing me when I. So where
Have you signed up for the trial?
Yes.
Can you maybe you need to refresh your screen, or if you don't see the option to create teams?
So yeah, so I went to general settings and click on Teams link, right? So I don't see Teams link. I can see only team access and other options like general locking, version control. I don't see team option.
Can you see my screen right now?
I think it's the server problem.
So
shall I refresh or
this one you can't see, is it? This team access. Is this the team access that you don't see?
Yeah, I can see this. I can see this. Now, how should I add a team?
Add team and permissions.
Yeah,
and if you want to create teams, you need to go to organization settings here, and here you need to create a team. So this is organization settings, and then this is assigning permissions is a workspace setting.
Workspace
setting. Yeah. So you're creating teams in the organization and saying this team, and as part of the workspace, set it up that this teams have access to this workspace, basically. Thanks, M, for the lead, but it's a hack. It's kind of a, also you need to discover some things yourself. So if we put everything, it's not at all challenging. So there should be some you try to learn the platform more when you try to go around. So I think that's why the creators added some challenge in the workshop and not put everything as instructions. And many times, even if we put everything as instructions, people don't read it. So that's kind of part of it, in my opinion. But feedback taken. Thank you. If you have some specific points where you think that you got lost and it was difficult to figure out, then please let us know, and we will maybe add that part so that it helps the other participants in the future. Harry, if the application was deployed and it means that there are credentials, otherwise it is very difficult, as in it's not possible that the Kitten app is deployed without ARM credentials. So that's kind of would be strange if there is no ARM credentials, but still the app gets deployed. So yes, Vineet, if you stop and start, you will need to do it from the beginning, but you can go through it very, very fast. And probably your Terraform Cloud steps are already done. So Harry, if you go to your shell, you do not see any environment variables here. So if you just do env, you do not see the ARM environment variables. Is that right? Like these ARM. Okay, cool. So basically the teams part is just to help you understand that there are teams that you can create, but it's very difficult for us to show you with teams because you need to create different users, and right now you are individuals, so it's a little challenging, but just to get an idea about how teams work. All right, so let's see. So can you please type again if you are done with the quiz, then we can move ahead. I would say if we get lots of yes, I'm done messages, then we move on with the next part. Okay. All right. So so far we saw how remote state works. We saw how remote operations work. We saw how you can create variables and sensitive variables. You saw how you can create teams and assign different roles to different people, different teams within Terraform Cloud, right? And we also deployed our HashiCat application. Probably you also saw some cat pictures already. Now, but all the code that we wrote is still within our laptop, right? So we want to collaborate better. We want to have code review kind of workflow. So for that we need version control integration, right? So let's see how that works. What is a version control system? I am sure I don't need to tell you, but if you have multiple developers working on the same piece of code, you need to make sure that they're using a version control system so they don't overwrite or create bugs by writing on top of each other, right? So same applies for Terraform code, and it makes sense to write it as a team, a version control system, right? So we can directly integrate with GitHub, GitHub Enterprise, GitLab, Bitbucket, Azure DevOps, and we are recommending that you use GitHub in this case to integrate with. I hope everybody has a GitHub account, and that makes running the workshop much easier, right? And you do not need a lot of understanding of Git, but just a few commands. So users from different teams, right? If they need to collaborate on a piece of code, of course they need to work on the same code, or somebody can consume somebody can create something and the others can consume that, right? So there are two ways. One is that you work together and build some code, or other is that somebody creates code and then you have somebody else who's consuming that code. All right, so we have really good integration with many VSC providers. And for example, in case of GitHub, you will see, I showed you earlier as well, you will see directly here, all the passes, all the tests are passing, for example, in Terraform Cloud. So we have really good tight integration, and you will also see that as part of your, and everything that you're doing, whoever changed, whatever was changed, it's tracked and is part of GitHub check-ins and git push, and you can see and make sure if you want to see who made this change, you can easily see that, right? So that was about GitHub or Git integration or VSC integration. Next is policy as code as part of Terraform. So we have the capability with our framework called Sentinel to create policies. For example, in this case, you can say that the only allowed location is central US, right? You can say which VM sizes are allowed, or there should be this tag definitely existing if somebody wants to deploy it using Terraform Cloud. A tag must exist, or this should be VM publisher. There could be different kinds of policies, or even other policies which are cloud agnostic, like after 9 p.m. on Friday, no changes are allowed without approval, or something like this. So you can create multiple different policies and apply them before anything is provisioned. So as soon as plan is finished, we can run the policies, and if policies are passing, only then apply will be run, right? So before deploying anything, policies are executed. Not like you already deployed the VM and you already deployed a bunch of things, and then when the load balancer time came, the load balancer policy did not work, and then you have to roll out everything. But you are actually doing all the checks beforehand. So if you have requirements, then this is about checking beforehand. This makes a lot of sense and saves you a lot of time. So these are some of the examples. You can restrict VM sizes, size of Azure VMs, enforce limits on AKS clusters, and there are many, many more, as I previously mentioned. And we have three types of enforcement levels. One is just advisory, so it will just say, this is not advised, but we will not stop you from doing it. Soft mandatory will, you will need to override it. So it's not compliant, but your admins are able to override that. And hard mandatory is like, if that is the case, then if that policy doesn't pass, then you're not allowed to deploy at all, right? So these are the three different types of enforcements. You have the capability to add policies in form of code or GitHub repositories as well to your organization. And then you can say to which workspaces do these policies apply. You can select multiple workspaces, or you can select, say, all the workspaces should comply to them, and accordingly you can work. All right, so that was about VCS integration and Sentinel policies, and now you will actually connect a version control system and also connect Sentinel policies as part of the lab exercises, and you can stop once you meet the next quiz, the third quiz, and then we do some revision, and then we move on to the fourth chapter about modules and API automation. All right, so let's get started. Yeah, enjoy. I think this is a cool part where you can create policies and also then have Git as a trigger to your workspace. Yes, sure, you can. Here's the link. I think these labs are available to you for
It's 3 days. Kapil,
3 days.
standard.
Yeah.
Standard is 3 days.
Yeah. These are available for you for 3 days, so you can keep on playing around with it. But I'm not sure if you can do if you can run it multiple times. So here, if you have two-factor authentication for your GitHub, then you will need to create a token here to do all the operations, and the token expires after a while. So just use the link here to generate the token. When you're doing a git push or a git pull, then you'll need to authenticate yourself. (19082). You can, I hope you got the invite to the lab. You can still sign up and continue doing the lab today. But we have already finished 3 chapters. So
Ahmed, to answer your question, you would need to work a lot with the Terraform environment. There is a learning track on learn.hashicorp.com that will allow you to prepare for the exam. So I would say you do the learn track on hashicorp.com. the learn.hashicorp.com environment, so that you can then, and that'll help. But you'd need to use it for a while and get to know it. It's quite a tough exam, so it's not something that you can just read this and then carry on. You need to actually have used it for a bit. Kojo, the exam is actually a agnostic, like our tools, doesn't care about the cloud. It's a test on the generic knowledge of Terraform and the environment around it.
Okay, cool, thanks.
For those that are interested, I've put in the chat 2 links, one to the main Terraform Learn track, which is something that you can go through quite easily. And then there's the collection for the certification study guide examples and things like that we provided, so that you can see what kind of questions are going to be asked.
I will take a quick bio break and be back in 2 minutes. If you are you able to make progress with the GitHub integrations and Sentinel?
They're very good. There's been no questions. Everybody's rocking on steroids here. It's really awesome. Going really fast. Probably not the right words to use, but everybody's at least having fun.
Yeah, I think it's a fun lab.
Kojo, you fall in love with infrastructure as code. Trust me. Once you start realizing the benefit, it's a beauty.
You can beat it into me.
It's hard to get your head around it. It's something like when you're trying to learn a new language, but once you understand it and you realize that you can use it across clouds, across environments, across infrastructure, you could use the same language to program a Cisco switch that you used to deploy an app in Azure and AWS at the same time. That is where you go, boom, rocket science happening there, and it's lovely. It happened to me when I first learned Terraform properly. It just blew my mind that you could actually configure everything from one bit of code.
I think the problem sometimes is there's so much technology and sometimes you're not using it all the time. So you kind of know it for a bit. Then you come back to like 3 months later and like you almost have to unravel everything. You don't document it, what you did then. But it just seems like there's a very vast breadth of technology, especially at this point, to know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a situation where one has to learn a lot. But once it's beautiful, I've been up on it to me. Once it's happened, it's a beautiful situation, and then you can go back and learn regularly.
Yeah, good point.
All right, let's go to jump out quickly. Oh no, my wife's here. Okay, there was just a delivery person. Yeah, so it's. I think once you start learning the language, you can read it again and again, and that's why we've got those learn materials. They are very, very helpful in bringing you back up to speed. How do you do a for loop again, or that type of stuff? That's some of the things that you learn directly in the Learn portal, and that's why it's there. It's getting better and better every week. We see new releases coming out of the different things.
Okay, so that's a good place to.
Yeah, always go there, and all the products have learn modules, so you could go and learn something about Nomad or Vault or Console or how they work together. It's quite cool.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most of our engineering people start out there. They get to it and then move on to the more complex stuff once you start building it yourself, because you need to do it yourself to be able to learn better. So for me, that's the learning curve is just getting and doing it. And you're right. Sometimes I'm a manager now, and it takes me a while to get back and into that. How does this work again? And so sometimes you have to really think hard. But luckily, you can go back to the Learn portal and just read up on the part that you're looking for.
Brata, you need to make sure that the Git repository that you're using is your own and not the HashiCorp repository, right?
Yeah, I have forked it.
But when you do a Git pull or Git push, right, you need to, so if you see here in the instructions, where is that? Is it this one? So if you see, this is a repository and you need to remove origin. So basically in the lab, you need to remove this and then you need to connect it with your own, which you need to provide your name here. But if it is trying to log in and access HashiCorp Azure, then you haven't done this correctly, probably, right? This is not removed yet then.
Okay, because while doing it, it allowed me to do it, but maybe, maybe it hasn't got removed the origin. So I need to try that again, right? I need to remove the origin and again add the origin to my name, right? Whatever my Git name, and then so
exactly. Try to remove it again and then add your repository here, and then try a Git pull again.
Sure, maybe, Okay, thanks.
Pull will work, but push will not work, right? Because push is you're not allowed, you don't have access to that repository.
Yes, that's right.
Awesome, Farah.
Cool, Farah. As Kapil says, choose your prefix wisely. Are we doing for time, Connor? We should be right still, hey?
Yep, yeah, we're on track. So no problem at all.
Oh, awesome. Because see, we've got like chapter 4 left, and that's modules and API. Boop, boop.
Another issue, I made a second org and the training workspace in the second org. The second org does not allow me to manage teams.
Yes, you need to have that permission. Harry, your permission for, does that permission apply across orgs. I can't remember whether you get the 30-day trial. Is it across orgs?
You need to maybe try the trial. You need to enable the trial.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You could skip the exercise, but I'm not sure if you can from your track. But there should be a button to skip to the next track or the next exercise. Sorry, not track, exercise.
You can try it. I have not tried it myself, and so I'm not.
Yeah.
But if you skip and say, I think there is, and don't force it, then it should be in a good state when you start again, and that.
Yeah, so there are scripts in the track that should automatically solve it up to that point. They're not a guarantee, but they should work for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an admin, so I'm not sure if we can do that.
You can try. You can try it, yeah. But why, Harry? Why do you have two organizations, right? Because we have one organization with a trial where we are doing everything. And is there a reason for the second organization? Do you want to redo everything? Because organization has teams, and you cannot have teams across two organizations. Oh, okay. So you only need one organization and you do everything in that organization. Mm-hmm. Just do everything with org training and nothing in org. Or just everything in org, but do everything in one organization. I think it shouldn't matter if it is not called training, but I'm not sure. Shouldn't be a problem.
It just means that the documentation is incorrect. So when you copy and paste from the page and it's looking for name training, it won't be able to complete. So the backend won't be set up correctly.
For the organization?
Yeah. So in the backend, it should say name dash training as a backend as an organization. If you haven't set that up, then Harry, I could jump in a group with you to try and fix it if you want. Connor, maybe just put me in one with Harry quickly, and I can see if I can help him out.
Sure thing.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lance.
Appreciate it.
Again, just let us know if you're done. Doesn't look like I'm skipping access. Sorry, Joa Tech. Yeah, I think also because all the steps and everything is not within the confines of instruct. We are doing many tasks which are in Terraform Cloud, and it's kind of not that easy to skip here. Especially depends on until what point you reached already, because getting the token and there are some manual steps which cannot be automated at all. Okay. I think if you're really fast and you already did everything once, it should be very fast to go through the lab if you want to try that.
So if I try to connect the version control from the workflow settings, doesn't it allow to connect to the GitHub rather than going via the general settings? Hello, am I audible? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, sorry. So which step are you at? And
actually, I'm trying to just done or deployed on done the push. Now I'm trying to add the version control. Okay, and for that I was trying from the workflow settings rather than going via the general settings, right?
if you go here, this is where you set up your GitHub or other version controls, right? Once you set
Yes.
it up, then you can come here and connect a specific. So in the workspace setting, you connect, you already have version controls and you select which version control you want to use. And then, so if you have multiple here, you can also create here. So for example, I don't have a GitHub.
Yeah,
It
I
says
tried
error.
to. Yes, I got the same error. Because, yeah.
Yeah, but you need to set it up before you can use it. So this is where you set them up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are for the whole organization, and then, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We solved Harry's problem. It's cool.
What was the issue?
Just because the original one they did enabled the 30-day trial and not this one. That's all. It's not.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lance. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Yor, did you get yourself sorted out with regards to the exercises? Did you jump to the new one? Okay. Would you do you want me to help you out, Yor, or we can jump in a room? I hope you're saying your name right. Sorry, I'm really bad at names. Okay, cool. No problem. Yeah, there are a few, but you only have to set them up once, luckily, with your accounts, because I have one connection now to my Terraform Cloud for my private stuff. I use Terraform Cloud for private stuff now. And you just need one setup, get your APIs configured, your API keys for the different bits, and then you should be fine. Now, I get that normally this going through here, this is how one does it during the course, just to get everybody working and using the tooling. But we'll take that away. Thank you for the suggestion. We'll make sure that we get that added to our invite emails. It's good to see people finishing the quizzes. Looks good. Oh, wow. You're building account listing service principles. Koja, maybe you and I should jump on a call. Seems like you might have an incorrect token set up.
So Paolo, you can check if this is correctly set up here, that you have always trigger runs and your repository is correct that you're pushing to. Just make sure that these are set up correctly.
Connor, can you put me in a room with Koja, please? Ah, there we go. Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry, I couldn't unmute. I couldn't find my Zoom client.
Who's that? Sorry. So the client ID and secret will be shown as soon as you I think I have it open somewhere. I think when I did it for mine, when you set it up, you see it immediately after you save all the things that Terraform Cloud asks you to save, and this is what you see. But I do not know if this will go away.
Actually, while filling up it, right, when I'm trying to set the VCS provider, I need to put the client ID and secret, right? So
yeah.
So where should I get that?
Here. So when you when you're setting up VCS connection here, right?
Yeah.
So when you say add a VCS provider,
yes,
and you say GitHub,
yes,
then you enter all these things,
yes,
right? And then you say register application. As soon as you say register application, you will see these two up here, like here.
I think I need to do a registered OAuth, right? I think I need to click on that, right? Register a new auth application. Or?
Yes, yes. If you click here, it will take you to this form where you can fill out all these things. So,
yeah, so this was automatically filled up. Yeah.
No, it should not be automatically filled up. You have to copy paste these. Okay. These are copy buttons. Copy here and paste it here, and then register. As soon as you register, you will see the client ID and secret.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good, Philip. Good job. Yeah, guys, just keep letting us know as soon as you finish your quiz 3. So if we have lots of people finishing it, then we can move to the next module. Then we only have one more chapter and we have a lot of time left. So you can take your time to finish chapter 3. So I think we can easily take another 10-15 minutes. So there's no hurry. But if we see a lot of people have done it, we will move on quickly. No worry, Tejas. It's not a problem if everything works well for you and you're able to follow everything. We have totally no problem in you rushing through the labs. And great that you learned a lot. If you have any questions, feel free.
Cool. Everybody still okay? Right, Ron.
So for the next lab, do we need to collaborate with some other Git repo?
You can do it yourself. I think it's very if you have somebody who you can give access or make them do that, sure. But you could create the pull request yourself instead of. So if you come here, for example, if you make a change, then you can, instead of committing, you can say create a new branch and create a pull request. So you could do it yourself for your branch, or you can ask somebody else to do it.
Okay, this is
But
the
I think
form,
it's
right?
sorry.
So this is the branch which I have forked, and then I can either create a new branch and then create a PR, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you do not need to create a new branch separately. It will, yeah, you can just do it here and it will create for you and create a pull request.
Yeah, anyway, it would be my local master, so I can directly create a pull request.
Or that, yeah. Just the point is to create another branch and create a pull request, and then with the merge, see that you have, because when you create a pull request on your branch, you will be able to see that Terraform can test those things for you and create a plan instead of running it on your master branch. So that's the main point.
Sorry, Kapil. Connor, can you put me in a room with Ron and Harry, please, so we can quickly sort out their GitHub issues?
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool, Paolo, that your trigger works. That's nice.
Ron, did you get the problem sorted out yet or not?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, cool. Then done. Awesome.
I think we will start in another 5 minutes with the next chapter. So about the GitHub having full access, I think you can decide what access do you want to give to GitHub.
Yeah, so it should need push access and webhook access. It has to be able to create webhooks. So usually you do an owner, user that's owner.
The 3.2 should work, but I'm not sure because they made some big changes in the version. So we need to just double check if 301, where you're seeing this 301 from M. Right. Interesting. I'd have to go into a room with M, please, Connor.
So we look at the modules. So if you look at details, you should see all the versions here. So it just shows the latest version there, but you can select your version 301. But it's just showing the latest here. So you should not worry about that. Just have to make sure that when you are using the module, you're providing the version here. We'll just wait for Lance and M. Fadili. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but and once they're back in the main room, we will start with the last chapter. And then you will have all the time. We will stay here and help you out. Sorry, guys, I was in the breakout room, but now I'm back. Let us know if you're done with the quiz. If you're ready for the next chapter, just say a quick yes. Okay. All right, let's. All right, so let's just summarize what we did in the last one, or generally what we have done so far today. Right, we have removed something from our laptop to be able to store the state in Terraform Cloud. Then we also moved all the operations to Terraform Cloud. We put all our code in version control system, GitHub, and then we made GitHub as a trigger. So if there's a change in GitHub repository, we made it as a trigger for our workspace. We added all the variables and also sensitive environment variables within our workspace. And we also then created a policy to, I'm not sure what the policy was now anymore, but we created a policy as well. And we can see the whole workflow now. It starts with a Git trigger and then a plan, then a cost estimation, which has some errors right now, but it will be fixed. And then Sentinel policies checks, and if everything is fine, then an apply, and then the infrastructure is provisioned. Now the next part of the lab is basically understanding the modules and also the APIs of Terraform Cloud. So before starting, I just want to make sure Lance back. Okay, they're still there. Anyways, I think we can continue and we'll show them later. All right, so modules and APIs. So modules are basically reusable infrastructure as code, right? So as somebody who knows, say, networking really well and wants to provide that as a standard to others, or you create a module for an application which can be deployed again and again by different people, like say a MySQL database, and you want to set it up and offer it to others, or say a VNet or a AKS cluster. It could be a lot of different things. You can set it up like the public registries. You can offer that also within your Terraform Cloud, right? So reusable units of Terraform Cloud. And in this case, this is going to create a VNet for Azure, right? This is what we're going to use. So how do you create a Terraform code? Basically, you create regular Terraform code with inputs and outputs that you have been used to, right? And then you store it on your workstation. And then you refer the module with the URL file. But it sounds very easy. But then if you have to, if somebody else wants to use it, they don't have it on their workstation. So you need to send them the code. So every time.
Keď si robíš tú aktiváciu.
Every time you need to send the module to somebody. Basically, but if you have a module registry, like you have GitHub as a registry for code, or you have Docker Hub, right? If you have a registry like that where you can just refer to other modules, then it will make your job much easier. That's exactly the point of modules. And so in this case, we have a private module registry, which can be used within your organization, within your teams as a registry for modules. So that we will learn about that. We create a module. We will pick up a module from outside the open registry, and then we will put it in our private module registry. and then we will use it in our code. And secondly, we will do Terraform Cloud API. So how do you use the API? So far, when we created the variables here, we did it with our hand, right? When we want to apply something, if we want to queue and apply, we do it with our in the GUI. But all these operations we are able to do them through a API. So in this case, you can see it's just telling what APIs are. Basically, it's over HTTP. You are sending your request and you're getting a response back, right? And most of the traffic today over the internet is basically API calls. Right? So APIs is what is happening all the time throughout the internet. So it makes everybody's job easy. It makes integration easy, right? If somebody wants to write a plugin to plug in Terraform Cloud or call Terraform Cloud to do something within their pipeline, it's much easier if you have an API and to integrate with other systems. So that's why we have a Terraform API. So in this case, you can see we have this URL app.terraform.io/API version 2 organization and workspaces. So if you want to create a new organization, yeah, this is the kind of the API call and with the curl command. And you need to provide a token to complete this API call. Run a JSON payload, and we have created some sample JSON payloads within the lab, which you will use to actually do that. And to work with REST APIs or HTTP APIs, most languages have good helper libraries. So even if you're programming something and you want to add these functions to a program or a script, it's much easier to work with Terraform. So for any CI/CD pipelines, you want to connect with some other systems. For example, you want to, on something which happens in another system, you want to send or start something in Terraform, you can do that, or connect with any other thing. So all kinds of integrations can be done through Terraform APIs. That's it. So now we will, in the lab, we will create a module within our private registry, use this module, deploy something, and then we will use the APIs to make calls and create new variables within our workspace. And then we will run an apply. So instead of the git trigger, we will use API as a trigger, where it's like a magic. You will see that we send a comment as magic as well, and then we start the apply through the API, and that's our next exercise. All right, so good luck and have fun. And if you have questions.
Emma, I'd suggest you just go through the slides on the next stuff just to check what the next slides were.
Yeah, there's not much left after this. All right, guys. So if you face any issues, just ping us again on the chat. You can also unmute yourself, no problem. And let us know once you have tested the private module registry and the APIs.
Ciao, ciao.
Pavel, that's a strange error.
When are you exactly getting the error? After filling all the details? Where do you get the error? Is it in Terraform or?
Might be good for me to jump in with Pavel. Connor.
I can also do that, I think.
Can you do that now? Oh, awesome. Go for it. Oh, I've got the information now myself. Let me.
Hi, Kapil. It's Upendra here. I'm getting an error with the GitHub.
What is the error that you get?
It says it is not able to find the VNet module, network module.
Where do you see the error exactly? On which screen?
Can I share my screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Let me know if it's visible.
No, we don't see it. We only see that you have started, but you have to select a screen and then say share.
Not visible. Sharing it again.
Maybe you have not given Zoom the
sharing.
rights. It now looks like it might be working, but
It says I'm sharing my screen.
we see a black screen. Or at least I see a black screen. Does anybody else see?
Yeah, I just see the black screen too.
Maybe you have not given Zoom the permissions to do screen recording or something. But I think, so the error is, so have you pushed the changes with the vnet.tf file into your Git repository?
Yes. It seems it's not allowed to share me.
We just see black screen.
It's just black.
Yeah. Do you have a Mac or a Windows?
It's Windows machine.
Okay, then I do not know much about Windows. If it was a Mac, I could help you. Maybe I can show you maybe where the problem could be and how things are working. So if you say go to modules, right? Do you have the module here? Oops. Are you still trying to share
Your
screen?
screen is not visible. Yeah, I tried, but it was not.
So do you have your module here?
Terraform. Yeah, I have the module.
And this module is in your organization, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then in your main.tf, maybe I can open it here. In your vnet.tf file, you have the version and you have your organization here.
Okay. Organization. Okay, let me check. I think this is not in my setup.
So you have to create the vnet.tf file, right, to access the module. And you need to provide the source of the module and the version, and then some. Maybe you can just, yeah. And that's how you use the module, right? Because it is in my organization. So that's why I'm giving the name of my organization and the version and the other parameters. You can also see it here.
And these options are that address space are saying it's optional. So we will.
Yeah, you don't have to provide it. Maybe they are optional. I just copied it from here, so I have them. So I just thought I just copied it like this and put the right, as in this is from the public registry, or is it? This is modules, details. Yeah, I copied it from here first. So just copy it from here.
Okay.
I think just copy it from this side, put the right version. So you can also select the version from here, put the right version, and then put at least, I think this is required, resource group name. And resource group name you can pick up from the main file. So it's the main.
Says my resource group.
So my resource group dot name. You can use this one. Yeah. Let us know if this works for you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm back.
Where did you go, Lance?
Oh no, I was helping Pavel.
Okay. Oh, that's the chat.
Chat seems to be good right now.
Switches, tagging.
Yeah, sorry, I just have been chatting with Roger, who created this track, and I just realized that the module has mixed tags. There's v3.0, v3.2, v1, etc., and then there's just 3.0.1, 3.11. So it sorts in a funny order. And if you have a version issue with that module, just make sure you're using the right tag, the right release.
This should work if you copy it from here, I would say. Select the version and copy this one here.
Yeah.
Then it should do it for you automatically. Any hint for the last challenge?
Is that the bonus challenge?
What is the challenge? If you have, okay. Ah, I don't have that invite. What is the bonus challenge? Let me check.
It'll be uninstruct somewhere.
We do have a bonus lab.
Note that this is a separate environment, right? So if you start a different track, that'll be a separate environment. And I'm not sure if it's even on Azure.
Yeah, let us know if you would like to try this lab out. We can create a.
It just has the one challenge, apparently.
Yeah. I've also not tried it, so yeah. You will have to rely on your skills and knowledge to complete the bonus lab, also known as the Gauntlet. So guys, whoever wants to try the bonus lab, just let us know and we will send you an invite.
Awesome, Marco.
I'd like to give the bonus a try. Okay. Let's create
an invite. Lots of people seem to want to do it. So.
What is it called again? All right, here you go. Guys, whoever wants to try the bonus challenge. But we cannot help you with that one. Probably. Let me try it as well with you guys.
Just click on the link up here.
Yeah, good.
Let's see what's there.
Welcome to the gauntlet.
Takes a while to start up, so must be something really difficult. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Are you trying it too, Lance?
I'm just looking at it. I haven't configured it myself. I've heard about it. I heard it's quite tough. Yeah. Anybody else still on the regular track doing okay? Need any help? No, mine's just got ready to boot. Let's see what's going on there.
Yeah, just a heads up that I don't think this one has been updated like the other one because it still complains about the official Terraform plugin version 2.23 that we use.
Are you trying this one?
Yeah, same idea. So it's on AWS and it provides a similar environment, but I don't think it's as updated as the other one that was just updated yesterday.
Yeah, so the experience might be a little bit different.
Okay, delete, and it does cater to AWS Azure as well.
And remember to install the Terraform highlighter. You need that.
Okay. Yeah, so this guys, this is for you as homework, and you can try it out. And but it's not part of the official lab. But if you want to have fun and some challenge and setup stuff, I think it's a good exercise. Yeah. I think I've done this before. All right, let us know if you are stuck, or let us know if you have finished the chapter 4 successfully. If you have any feedback also, we are happy to listen, or you can also write it down. We are here, I think, for another 30 minutes or so. And I think we covered most of the sections.
All in all, not too bad today. I think been a lot of learning going on.
Yeah, a couple of issues. The cost estimation looks like it might actually be an Azure issue that they're having right now, or an issue with our credentials used for the cost estimation. But yeah, the time estimate for this, which is something like 8 hours, never really fits. It's always pretty much a half day. So that works out well.
Yeah, it depends on how skilled the people are. Obviously, the people on the call are really skilled, John. They're getting through it really quickly.
That's right.
And some good discussion. John, when is the HashiConf launch video?
5 p.m.
Wow.
5 p.m. BST, I should say, BST.
So that's should be soon, really, isn't it?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Cool. I'll have some time to go and breakfast. Only not breakfast.
Yeah. Everybody who's on here who's not signed up for that, it's worth jumping into if you can, if you're able to tonight. They're going to make some pretty big announcements about 2 new projects.
Yeah. It's free, by the way. Doesn't cost anything to go and sign up. And you get some cool HashiCorp digital swag there as well. Nice backgrounds for when you're doing your video calls and things. There's a link if anybody's interested to sign up. I think I have one. Ah, here we go. This is the one background you can get. I installed it yesterday. Cool. Look like I'm floating in space.
Background, what are you talking about? Did you set your screen to a background?
Yeah, because Kapil is sharing, I can't, I'm not on front and center, but if you look at my image in the camera, you'll see it's got kind of like triangles and stuff, and it's all moving. Cheers, Wolfgang. I hope you had a good session.
Thank you for joining.
And thank you, Kapil, for doing an awesome job today.
Yes, thank you. And just a reminder, how long are these sessions set to stay active? A few days, week?
Another 2 days.
2 days. Okay, so yeah, if you do drop off here, you come back to finish, you had to leave for a meeting, you have 2 days for the session to be active.
Thank you.
Did you see they made some laptop and phone backgrounds for HashiConf? It's quite cool.
I saw, but I've not had the chance to use them or set them up.
Yeah. I just thought it now. And there's also music. I didn't realize that there's a playlist.
Yeah, Spotify playlist.
Spotify, yeah.
And then there's the theme song that they've got written. Did you see they wrote a theme song for it?
No, serious?
Yeah, there's a theme song. It's the first thing under music under the Digital October.
We didn't get a theme song for Europe.
No, they're stepping up their game again, you see.
I need to upload the new ones here.
Yeah. Video.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
videos. There are videos.
Yeah, there is background. The one I've got is a moving background. It moves. Lots of fun.
These are PNGs.
I wonder if one can play music into the mic. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
Yeah. Yeah, the sound is quite cool. It's a very futuristic soundtrack. So
where I don't see any music link on the page.
If you go to October swag.
October swag. Not on the HashiConf page. HashiCorp.
Yeah, the hashiconf.com/digital-october swag.
/swag.
I'll put it in our what's name channel, John.
Oh, no. Oh, it doesn't work for me. Yeah, put it in the channel, please.
It's here.
Down a bit more. That's the virtual backgrounds. Those are the
digital.hashiconf.com/
emojis, the playlist, device backgrounds. Ah, you needed to sign in. Have you signed in? Maybe it's because you're not.
Yeah, I'm signed in. It's showing me my schedule, but every time I hit swag, it's taking me away.
Too many variants.
Oh, digital October/swag. There's extra digital. Sorry.
Oops, Kapil, you crashed the portal.
Guru mediation. What's
mediation.
Happening?
No idea.
Swag.
Yeah.
You have this one, right?
Yeah, I got that one.
I'll try this one.
That's the background for your screen, and that's the should be one MP4 or something. It could be. Which browser are you using there, Firefox or?
This is Safari.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I thought it was quite cool. It's like really futuristic music. Not my normal listening taste, but futuristic. There we go.
Lance, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Harry again. Can you please try to help me again with pushing to GitHub, because it's still
okay, cool.
allowing me to do.
Yeah, sure. Let's try and see if I can get in a room with you.
Okay. Good.
Or you can do it here, I think.
Actually, yeah, that's cool. That's true. Harry, can you share? You're gonna have to share.
I can stop sharing. You can.
Well, then I have to change from different.
Well, just I mean, let's. You have to. Are you having permissions to permission problems again? Was it?
Yeah. Now I have managed to log in with token, with access token on my repository, and I pulled and I changed the branch, whatever. I made a change and I tried to push that change to my own fork.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still getting me permission error on VS Code that it's not allowing to push anything.
Interesting. Let me.
Or you can go to a breakout room if you like.
It might be easier to do that.
I'll put you guys in a breakout room. No problem.
Yeah, thanks, Connor. Make it easier.
Thank you, Vignesh.
Yay.
Hi, so just a quick question, and sorry, may have already been answered because I'm slightly behind, but where you have to add the tag billable, I'm not sure which exercise I'm doing, but it's to do with the Sentinel. You know, where you add the billable tag to before you run your Git commands to add the second tag. Where exactly? I might just missed it. Where exactly?
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I mean main.tf.
Yeah, this is main.tf, and this is the resource group, right? But I think it is required to put it for the virtual machine. So if you go to the virtual machine, you can create tags like this.
Ah, okay, I get it. Okay.
Similar to shown in the resource group, right? You can just put it at the end after the OS profile. You can put it like this.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Kittens. Good. Nice to meet you finally. Yeah, there's a lot of everything, I think. I have to tell you a funny story. Basically,
It's almost beer o'clock.
That's right. HashiConf keynote. I gotta have a drink.
Yep.
Tres comas.
Cool. And 41 people stayed to the end. I am super, super proud of that. That's a really awesome achievement. Not quite, Koja. If it was a virtual drink, I would definitely not be a happy bunny.
Yeah, that's a virgin mojito for everyone.
Virtual virgin.
Virtual. Too many virtuals in that one, or something, whatever.
Virtual virgin.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Is everybody still chugging away at the exercises or doing the advanced course?
We're just trying to break everything. That's fun too.
Yeah, that
These
happens.
environments are isolated and will be destroyed after the time is up. But please don't ring up like 1,000 VMs. That would be silly.
I think they might be limited as well, John.
Yeah, it's funny, the chip workshops that we had, you had to it's advanced Vault and Terraform, and you end up spinning up clusters around the globe, and you quickly have the ability to rack up a huge bill for us, which isn't fun.
No. Cool, Ron. Awesome. Keep doing them. I'll be back in a short while.
Shall we wrap up in 10 minutes or?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. If there's no more questions, we can let everybody go early.
Yeah. Or if there's anybody who would like us to stay till 5, we would be okay with that. But considering that many people are already doing the bonus round, let us know if you are stuck somewhere or you would like us to stay till 5 p.m. Otherwise, I think we'll start wrapping up at 4:45 time, German time here in another 9 minutes or so. And then maybe Connor, you can do the final wrap up.
Sure thing. Yeah, we can wrap up at 4:45.
Awesome.
Glad everybody's enjoying it. .
So these are some of the resources which you can refer later if you want to understand more about why Terraform Enterprise or why these features are important. I think this is a good resource. And also if you are more interested in Azure and what all you can do with Azure provider, and generally Terraform product information. And I think feedback link already was, Connor sent a feedback link already, so you don't need to use this one. It's in the chat. I think we would really appreciate that.
Don't forget, in 1 month or however long your trial has left, your Terraform Cloud organization will switch back to the free tier. Okay, so you won't have the full features again, but you will be able to do the open source workshop as well as basic Terraform Cloud. So yeah, just a heads up on that as well.
Yeah, the bonus labs should last the same time, but because they normally are like a 3-day lab. Sure, Farah.
Thanks for joining. Yeah. Bonus lab is only valid for 1 day, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I put only 1 day on that one. And yeah, I'm not sure when they do a cleanup or something.
It's literally 24 hours later, so.
Yeah.
So you've got
maybe
and you're going to rush through those things and get them done.
I think the invites will be gone, like you will not be able to use the invite again, but if you have already access to the track, that will stay and you can look at it again and try it out.
Yeah, and the web, the slides will always be available. They're open on the web, so you can get to the slides whenever you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
But the environments will die and the track will die eventually after 3 days. That you won't have it anymore. That's a smaller version of HashiCorp. That's a lot smaller than it was before, than it is now.
Probably double now.
3 times, I think. That was a while ago.
Shall I try to count?
Go for it.
Everyone. 25, yeah, maybe 400 people.
Yeah, it's not. It was the HashiCorp before the one I joined.
These events are history now. No, so many people in one room is.
Okay, yes, we'll take that away. That the email account, the email that goes out asks you to create the accounts. Thank you.
Next time, please inform them to create all the user accounts. Thank you for your feedback. All right, Connor, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Kapil. All right, so with that, we just wanted to wrap up and say thank you for the team for today's session and to all of you for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed learning about Terraform Cloud on Azure this afternoon. As mentioned in the chat a moment ago, to help us improve these sessions, we'd really appreciate your feedback by completing a quick survey. Now, I promise it will only take a couple of minutes to get through as well. And you can find the link in the chat. You also might have heard that we've got a HashiConf starting at 6 p.m. European time, where we'll be making some really exciting announcements. So it's well worth tuning in if you can. And in case you haven't signed up yet, I'll put a link to that in the chat now as well. So with that, thanks again so much for joining and have a great evening. We really hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Cheers.